Hey guys, in this Historical Fiction 101, I'm going to be sharing book recommendations for ancient Egypt. So, book recommendations for ancient Egypt. This was actually kind of difficult, which is strange. I don't know if I was just not looking in the right places for recommendations. I honestly had a difficult time trying to find ancient Egypt books, and the thing is, I know they exist, but I just couldn't find them in my research for some reason. And the other difficulty that I was having with ancient Egypt, it seems like the most popular focus in historical fiction when it comes to ancient Egypt is people like Cleopatra and King Tut. A lot of people kind of like to write about those two, and so I didn't want to have this whole video be focused on King Tut and Cleopatra. I wanted some variety, in terms of ancient Egypt subject matter. So yeah, I feel like I kind of failed in that task, you guys. I tried, just go with me, and yeah, I'd greatly appreciate if you guys have recommendations that I don't have on this list for ancient Egypt, because like I said, I was just having a very difficult time finding books. And before I do get going, I am including Cleopatra in my recommendations for Egypt. I'm also going to be doing a book recommendations for ancient Rome in the future, and so I wasn't quite sure if I should have Cleopatra in my ancient Egypt or ancient Rome, but I decided to go with ancient Egypt. So the first recommendation I have here is the Memoirs of Cleopatra by Margaret George, and this is a first-person narrative told from Cleopatra herself and her early life and her relationship with Rome and Julius Caesar. And I have yet to actually read this book. It is very, very huge. I'm very, very excited to get to it in the future, though. I've never read historical fiction with Cleopatra, weirdly enough, even though like I said earlier, there's numerous historical books on Cleopatra, and I've never read a single one, so I can't wait to get to this one. And I really do like Margaret George as a writer. My next recommendation is Nefertiti by Michelle Moran. This one is about Nefertiti and her sister, and it's also about Nefertiti, who ends up marrying a pharaoh, Amenhotep, I believe is how it's pronounced, and how Nefertiti is embroiled into the political games of the time. Next, I have Daughter of the Gods by Stephanie Thornton, and this is about Hatshepsut. Once again, I hope I pronounced that one right. Hatshepsut. Oh Lord. This is about Hatshepsut, who I believe was like one of the first female pharaohs, which was really wild and crazy at the time. Next, I have a trilogy called the Ra-Rahotep series by Nick Drake. The first book in the series is called Tutankhamun, King Tut, basically. I'm not sure how to pronounce his whole name. Book 2 is called Nefertiti. And then the third book is called Egypt, the Book of Chaos. So yeah, like I said, this is a trilogy of books, and it follows its leading character, Ra-Rahotep, who is a leading detective or investigator in ancient Egypt. And that actually sounds pretty exciting. It sounds like these are kind of mystery thrillers just set in the ancient world. So yeah, I definitely gotta pick these up in the future. These are actually my sister's books, so I'll definitely have to borrow them from her. Next, I have Murder in the Place of Anubis by Linda S. Robinson. This one is described as a murder mystery set during the reign of King Tut. And then I have A River God by Wilbur Smith. This one is about a young Egyptian warrior during the 18th century BC as he tries to unite Egypt. Next, I have a recommendation for young readers. I think this set of books are mostly intended for elementary and middle school age, and this is part of the Royal Diaries series, and one of the Royal Diaries happened to focus on Cleopatra. And like all of these royal diaries do, it focuses on a female queen when she's very young. And yeah, this one I guess is just basically Cleopatra before, all of the crazy drama. Next, I have The Heretic Queen by Michelle Moran. I think I need to note, Michelle Moran, if you're looking for more ancient Egypt historical fiction, I think Michelle Moran, when I was doing all my research, she had tons of ancient Egypt historical fiction. So yeah, make sure you go check her out on Goodreads if you want more recommendations from her. This one is about a young woman named Nefertari who happens to be the niece of Queen Nefertiti, I believe. And it's about Nefertari, whose family, her whole family, was murdered in a palace fire. And I guess it's about her rivalry with her aunt. And also about Nefertari as she later becomes the queen of Ramses the Great. So yeah, that's it for my recommendations for ancient Egypt. I'm sorry if this list really sucks. I'm kind of just disappointed with this list because I feel like I could have expanded into some wider range of territory. Another problem I was having, because when I do these recommendations, I like to give you guys recommendations for books that are relatively modern, and what I mean by that, books at least published from the 80s up to now. And yeah, there was a lot of ancient Egypt historical fiction that I was coming across that was like written like in the 1800s or like 1930s and stuff like that, and I just didn't know if that would be stuff that would interest you guys. So yeah, once again, please leave me further recommendations in the comments below so I can go have a look. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.